Hey, I'm back in Sweden. I spent a month. I've been back a couple of weeks, and if you'd seen my last video, you'd realise it was a bit crazy in the UK. And the last journey I'd done was with Gaia, and discovered that the black holes aren't a natural organic thing. It's actually it's an overlay of shitty synthetic energy, AI, keeping female consciousness in. And so yeah, it was a really interesting month. And the day I did the video, then, because it happened that night, and I did the video on that day and released it, and then that night, the following night, the war was still raging on, and weren't allowed to get involved. I was like on guard. And I wanted to go up, and Guy was like, no, just relax. Let the other planets do what they need to do. So yeah, and I went back to where that was once a black hole, now isn't. Is this beautiful rose in the universe, and it was still pumping through female energy, which is beautiful to see. And I was met by consciousness that had been pumped through, and I was greeted and thanked, and and I was also told that the effects of what's happened there basically have a huge effect in us. They mentioned 4 years. So in 4 years' time, because at the moment there's two timelines taking place. There's a very dark timeline with AI and all that crap, and then there's the light timeline. So people who deciding to wake up, to take responsibility for their own individual reality, and are starting to create a new reality. And then you've got the old reality that's getting worse and worse and worse. And eventually, what Gaia is going to do is reject the consciousness that stays in the old reality. And the people that choose responsibility and choose to live from their hearts will inherit Earth, and the darkness falls away. Seems amazing, does it? So and then this consciousness said that 4 years will be a big turning point for that. So I just assume that Gaia it will be over. But what's actually lovely now is there are a lot of people that I've been working with, or I've just once or twice have seen them. They're starting to, because a lot of us have been in survival mode a lot, and a lot of people are really starting to break out and really connect to their hearts, and they're actually starting to live for the first time, rather than do healing or make a living out of healing. That's been, so we're actually starting to create a new reality now. What else? I went and seen the Watchers afterwards, and they basically told me that that night when it all kicked off, and the key was taken from Planet X Nibiru, and the dark consciousness, what we deem the dark consciousness, but basic psyche broke. That they know that there's what happened that night, even though there may be AI still working outside of the Matrix, and the Matrix still working to some sort of capacity, they know there is no way back at all. And they know this, and they showed me it's like playing a football match, and the good, one side is 17 and 17-0, and they've only got 5 minutes to play, but they keep playing the 5 minutes because instead of giving up totally. So they're saying that's what's happening. They're still playing the football match, but they know that there's no way that they can overcome what's happened at all. So that's good. And then I'm just been learning about this blue DNA. So I was the Watchers have basically showed me that at the beginning of the experiment, they messed with where we get the royal families. The royal families are the royal families because of a fake DNA that they have. Not a fake DNA, but an AI DNA. And there was 4 strands of DNA called the blue DNA that was placed in consciousness. Now, once this strand of DNA, this blue DNA, is like a long thread, it goes through consciousness. once a mother has a baby and she's got this DNA, she then passes it on to that child. So it creates this string of AI blue fake DNA, and it goes into the consciousness, and it goes from mother to child, mother to child, mother to child. And they did this with 4 different parts of consciousness, and then they also messed with another 3 different parts of consciousness, but it was a clear DNA. And basically the clear DNA and the blue DNA are at war with one another. They are programmed to be at war with one another. And so I was looking at this gentleman. He had clear DNA, but just being born by his mother, who had this clear DNA, who she got it from her mother, he was automatically an enemy of somebody who had no royal connections other than this DNA, and he was automatically an enemy from somebody from the blue DNA who was connected to the royal family, so he started getting attacked right from day dot because he had this clear DNA. Hadn't done anything as a consciousness. His intentions were pure, but he had this DNA, so he made him an enemy. And so basically the Watchers, what it seems like they've done is basically created like a superhero kind of scenario. Do you know, like superheroes, because this is what it reminds me of. You've got the superhero scenario where you've got the bad guy. He's got more resources, he's slightly stronger and everything like that. And it looks like he's going to overtake, the world. And then you've got the, say Superman, yeah? He's not as strong, but he's got good integrity, he's a good guy, he's got some powers. And, but there seems to be an imbalance in what one has and what it seems like the bad guy has more. So this is what it reminds me of. And because the clear DNA, it doesn't seem as bad. It's still programmed to fight in a way, but it fight in a more integral way. But it puts people in this battle automatically, and I don't believe consciousness is like that. If this wasn't in our consciousness, then there would be no battles. We're not automatically to fight. It's alien to us, alien to consciousness altogether. And it seems to, the more I sort of understand this, it seems that this DNA system, this fake DNA system, actually gets us to be at war with one another. So all this crap, on a good side, for me anyway, it's quite easy to take this out. And if you're a healer and you see this, just pull it out. I mean, I was working with a healer and I'm like, you're going to start seeing this stuff because it all needs to be pulled out. Because even though this stems from royalty, it's where the first Watchers started, like all the Queen and all the royal families, I'm sure, will have this blue DNA. But the offshoots of it, I mean, this has been in our collective consciousness for years and years and years and years. So I've been meeting people that seem no connection to royal families whatsoever, but they've got this stuff in their consciousness. So, and it can just be pulled out. It's not linked to a trauma. It doesn't. You can just pull it out of the consciousness. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. So now it's kind of, for me, it's just kind of like the war's over on that level where we're creating it. But the clear up mess, it's all the holograms, the implants, this DNA stuff, the program all needs to come away. Consciousness is stronger than anything. So I've met people who've had this blue DNA structure in their consciousness, but their consciousness has been so strong and integral and honest and being who they are, they've been able to reject this stuff from their consciousness. They haven't needed a healer or anybody, or they've just been true to who they are and not adhered to this fake DNA, because this fake DNA, it really screws up and basically inverts the person from who they are. Okay, I'll leave it there. Thank you for listening, and you enjoy your day. Okay, take care. Bye.